Time 2:23. Sometimes just an idea isn't enough to make your dream renovation become a reality. Leverage the equity you have in your home and turn your house into the space.
Doug Ford, the premier of the province of Ontario, has declared a state of emergency, and supposedly about an hour, which means probably in a few minutes, the way things are going. John Tory, the mayor of Toronto, he's not the nightmare, he's not the king shit of Toronto, but, you know, I just don't say Tory, do it. Fucking, he's about to declare a state of emergency for Toronto. But I got myself a little bit of weed. I'm gonna smoke it. And I got myself some food, coffee, and I got beans and sardines. I got everything. All right, so let's listen to what the mayor's about to say about shutting things down, because Mr. Fomoko just shut down the province. And now they think they're gonna shut down the city too. Right? The mayor. You wanna know who the mayor is? This the fucking mayor. The nightmare. King shit of the city, eh? They don't say Tory, do it. It don't say Tory, do it. All right, let's put it back on.
First-degree murder in the death of the 22-year-old woman. The trial spanning nearly 2 months and one of the only cases continuing in Ontario since the province's courts are nearly shut down amid the COVID-19 pandemic. 680 News Time 225.
Some live to ski. Others ski to live.
Chicken and fries.
Introducing Blue Mont. Blue Mountain Chalet living on 60-foot executive lots. Steps from the mountain. A lifetime of memories awaits you and your family. Chalets from $890,000. For more information or directions to our sales office, visit Tremont.com.
As an essential service, Roto-Rooter wants you to know that they remain ready to help you with any of your drain, plumbing, or disinfection needs. Thank you for understanding as they take preventative measures to ensure everyone's health is a top priority. Contact them at rotorooter.com.
680 News Time.
Blueberry.
Now the 680 News Business Report. Here's Chris McCusker.
Well, Alex, we continue to see losses in what's been a very up and down day. More action from the U.S. Federal Reserve today to help support the American economy, but politicians in Washington just cannot get it together. They are still working on this stimulus bill, and the head of the Senate, Mitch McConnell, saying today that the stimulus bill could be pushed to Friday. So all of that is creating a lot more uncertainty, a lot more than really anyone can handle right now. So the Dow is down 686. The S&P off by 73 and the NASDAQ down 87. Earlier today, the Fed decided to purchase an unlimited amount of treasuries and securities tied to home and business mortgages. And yes, markets like that. But the move is seen as only part of the solution here. Avery Schenfeld is chief economist at CIBC.
What the Federal Reserve can do is make sure that companies that are solvent get access to the credit they need to stay in business through these tough times, and that governments can borrow at low interest rates as well.
Because governments have a hard time borrowing money at low interest
services,
right?
That's still going to be frozen as long as people are sheltering in their houses. And we're going to need both government assistance to tide people through that period, but also we're going to need progress on the disease itself to get people out of their houses again.
The TSX right now is down by 526, 11,324. That is a drop of 4.3%. So the TSX still the big loser in North America. As it stands right now,
I'm already infected. Once I'm no longer contagious, I'm hitting the block anyway. What are you going to do? Give it to me twice? You can't.
Are threatened now by the coronavirus pandemic. The stock getting a downgrade today. Right now, shares are off by 14%, 42 cents a share. And then over at Transat, which I'll remind you is still in the process of being acquired by Air Canada. Now, the latest to announce layoffs, 70% of its workforce.
They want a company, they want to buy a company while they're laying off all their employees. Both companies are laying off all their employees.
Okay, the price for gold at one point today jumped by more than $80. That's the biggest one-day price move up ever. Right now, it's higher by $80, $15.68. Oil is going the other way. It's down a dime, $22.52. It's been a very choppy session for oil as well today. And then the Canadian dollar right now, it's off by 76/100ths, 68.89 cents US.
This is the Canadian dollar, brethren. Don't fuck around. That's the green shit there is the Canadian dollar, bro.
Imagine a home renovation without all the stress, cost, and uncertainty. That's why Georgian Renovations created Smart
Oh, I'm in a bit of a mood.
Hi,
30 fucking minutes to get out of the lobby.
Reno's a home renovation with
Why are
easy
they
and affordable.
locking down the elevators?
Smart Reno packages
I got smart asses telling me to take the stairs. I got sickle cell. This asshole pretends he's Jamaican. I say I've got sickle cell. He goes, what's that? It's a disease black people get. You're supposed to get told about it when you're a kid. That's 2 fucking fake kids I uncovered in the last week, yeah? Oh, it's not easy to pick out the fake ones.
1877 Cars for Kids. KARS Cars for Kids. 1877 Cars for Kids. Donate your car today.
Donate online at carsforkids.ca. That's cars with a K. Pickup is quick and easy. You'll benefit a child and get a maximum tax credit.
1877 Cars for Kids. Donate your car today.
Also accepting boats, motorcycles, RVs, and truck donations. You'll hear it here
First, breaking news when it happens.
on 680 News. Jill Taylor's forecast, it's rain in the afternoon, a guaranteed high of 3 degrees. 680 News is CFTR AM Toronto. It is 2:30. Number 1 for news in Toronto. This is 680 News.
Here are Sledgena Dominzik and James Monroe.
Good afternoon. This is Monday, the 23rd of March.
Here's what's making news right now.
The Premier orders the emergency shutdown of all non-essential workplaces.
This was a very, very tough decision.
He also says students will not be back in class by April 6th.
There are now more than 500 confirmed COVID-19 cases in Ontario, with the province seeing the biggest one-day jump so far.
The Prime Minister says enough is enough. He's issuing a stern warning to people ignoring social distancing advice, saying if they don't change their behavior, the feds will be forced to take action.
The Olympics will be a no-go this year, according to Dick Pound and Charles Barkley.
You know how many fucking reservists there are in the hood? We'll lock this shit down so tight you ain't taking a shit without permission, eh? You think I'm joking?
The Dow is down more than 600
You flushed your toilet twice.
Falls more than 500. Business at 50 cents.
Don't do it like that. You think I'm joking?
Traffic and weather together on the one.
I'm from this country. Trust me.
This report is brought to you by
I know the
Ontario
soldiers.
Ministry of Health. Watch out westbound on the QEW as you head past the Ford plant. We had reports of large
this would have been a lot better warm, but I got
lane.
stuck in the
I
lobby.
notified MTO about that, and don't see it on cameras, but again, use extra caution westbound on the QEW.
Transaction
Anywhere
first,
from
food
Ford
later.
Drive to about Royal Windsor in that left lane. Westbound on the 401, approaching the 427, the right lane is blocked because of a collision. You'll find a slow drive westbound 401 from Kipling to approaching the 427. Other than that delay, the westbound 401 is moving well, and no delays affecting the eastbound 401. It's a good drive on the DVP in both directions, and the Garner is problem-free both into and out of downtown. Getting around city streets, we still have Wellington shut down in both directions from east of Portland to Spadina, and that's because of a fire. Help protect yourself from viruses like COVID-19. Avoid touching your eyes, nose, or mouth, and stay home if you are sick. Visit ontario.ca/coronavirus. Paid for by the Government of Ontario.
The government has to pay for advertising. It's not just enough that it's on the news. They have to. I thought they were about to advertise a product.
The snow will mix with rain and then come to an end. The rain showers around 4 or 5 this afternoon into the early evening. Guaranteed high 3, a low near -1. Some clearing tonight. For today, the guaranteed high +3.
Oh,
There's some light rain in downtown Toronto and 3 degrees. This is 680 News.
Premier Doug Ford says school will not resume in 2 weeks as originally thought, and is today ordering the closure of all non-essential businesses to help deal with the spread of COVID-19.
This as Ontario today reported nearly 80 new cases, bringing the provincial total to more than 500. 680's Momin Qureshi joins us live. The latest from the province. Momin.
James, as the numbers in the COVID-19 pandemic continue to go up in this province, the province continues to tighten up regulations to try to tackle the issue. Today, the Premier taking a major step forward, announcing that all non-essential workplaces will be shut down as of Tuesday at midnight. So what does that mean?
Okay, we're going to rejoin Moment in just a second.
Some asshole that wants to come to work every day and fix the same problem every day.
Because of the pandemic, people calling Telehealth Ontario have reported long wait times, but Health Minister Christine Elliott says the service now has more than 2,000 lines running. She says the government is also confident in its ability to keep up with much-needed medical supplies, including face masks.
We are working very hard every day to secure supplies through our regular sources, but also through additional sources through the website that's been set up to get people in Ontario to donate supplies. They are coming in on a regular basis, and so we are continuing.
People have medical supplies. If you are like some kind of, I don't understand.
Ontario has also enhanced its COVID-19 self-assessment tool, making it interactive and allowing the province to gather data from it.
With breaking news on the Olympics, a high-profile member of the IOC says the Summer Games in Tokyo are going to be postponed, likely, to next year. Canadian Dick Pound telling USA Today
don't ever fucking test Canada, eh?
Last night, Team Canada announced it was not sending any athletes to the Games, which are supposed to start on July 24th. The postponement of the Olympics will be the most significant sporting event to be impacted.
This is 680 News.
That bothers you, blame Canada.
Today from Mayor Tory
that will place
the city of Toronto under a state of emergency. 680's Irene Prekla joins us live now with that. Irene. And Slajana, Toronto seeing its first COVID-19 related death. That happening on the weekend. Mayor John Tory will hold a video conference in just under half an hour, at which time he is expected to announce the declaration of an emergency in Toronto. And then at 4, the city's top doctor and emergency officials, including the fire chief, will provide further information. 680 News will have both of those for you as they happen. Now, this comes with Ontario reporting 78 new COVID-19 cases today, bringing the provincial total to 503, a majority of those in the GTA. The number includes 6 people who have died of the illness, 8 who have recovered. At least 6 of the new cases have required hospitalization, including a woman in her 30s, a man in his 40s, 2 people in their 50s, and 2 in their 70s. The health minister says right now 23 of the provincial cases are in hospital. We'll have another provincial update on the numbers at 5:30. Reporting live, Irene Prekla, 680 News.
This is 680 News. Prime Minister Trudeau has issued his sternest warning yet to people ignoring social distancing. It comes as the federal government boosts its funding for the development.
The reason they're repeating this over and fucking over is because the next thing is martial law. They will do it. They can do it. It's perfectly legal.
The number of people who are not self-isolating or practicing social distancing. We've all seen the pictures online.
And the militia stands by it.
Think they're invincible. Well, you're not.
You're going to see black flags and blue flags and red flags on every corner, masked up. And don't worry about our guns.
The government may have to use tools in the
Go back in your house and stay home.
If nothing changes, and doesn't rule out closing provincial borders and limiting people's movement.
You're going to need an escort to get off your own block to the next block.
Calling in the military.
There are a number of different ways that these kinds of things can be enforced, and we're looking at a variety of different measures should we take that step.
See, they're looking at a variety of measures.
This week, urging
a variety.
Good hygiene and social distancing. It's also investing another $192 million on the development and production of a COVID-19 vaccine, although that could take months. Trudeau also weighing in on Team Canada's decision to skip the Olympics unless it's delayed by a year.
Mutates. There's no vaccinating against mutation.
Cormac McSweeney, Parliament Hill.
There are now nearly 1,500 cases of COVID-19 in this country. More than 102,000 people in Canada have been tested. Dr. Teresa Tam, during her daily update, says we're at about 10,000 a day. She says there's growing concern about cases occurring in high-risk populations and vulnerable settings like long-term care homes.
We need to continue with strict public health and infection control measures, but to further protect all of these populations, as well as our health system and all of our communities, we must slow community spread through unrelenting social distancing.
Tomorrow, repatriated passengers from the Grand
you come out your house, you're going to hear, hey, close that
will be released as long as they do not test positive for the virus.
Well, health experts say social distancing is
one
of the best ways to fight the spread. The 680's business editor Chris McCusker tells us.
So I can walk around through all this shit. Once I get past the stage of shedding it,
continues in Canada and the U.S. until the end of August.
All you pussy holes just getting sick now aren't going to be able to go on. How many of the reservists can go out now?
This year, instead of growing by 0.3%, as was earlier predicted. The conference board also says the economy could shed over 330,000 jobs over the second and third quarter.
quarters this year, boosting the unemployment rate to 7.7%.
We almost got over the 2008, 2009 recession. Almost. We almost got up to the same level we were at.
Declines in the second and third quarters. But the Conference Board also says once COVID-19 is contained, the economy will rebound. At the Business Center, I'm Chris McCusker.
What's this one? Strawberry. I got two blueberries. Yes.
When it happens.
680 News.
In difficult times like these, we at Mark Feldstein and Associates understand that businesses and individuals are facing unique challenges. Our office is striving to make your life easier. Tax time is already stressful, and this year in particular, we want to reassure you that we are making every effort to help you. We are fully operational remotely and can handle all of your tax and accounting needs without you leaving your home. Visit
Suspended. Tax clinic temporarily suspended. No, suspended till further notice.
TAX.
What the fuck is this guy?
On city streets, Wellington is shut down from east of Portland to Spadina for fire investigation. And in Oakville, the intersection of Lakeshore and Trafalgar is closed for long-term construction. Now, the 680 News gas price update and Pro predicting the price of gas will hold steady overnight. We should stay just under 74 cents a liter.
680 News time, 2:40.
For one young man, this is where the TELUS Mobile Health Clinic gave him the care he needed with the dignity he deserves.
Come on in. Let's get you checked out.
235,000 Canadians experience homelessness each year. Across Canada, TELUS Health for Good provides healthcare directly to those who need it most. When you're all connected with TELUS, you're all connected for good. Learn more at TELUS.com/allconnectedforgood.
Hey guys, it's never a good look when you untuck a long bulky dress shirt. It just looks sloppy.
That's another thing. The government don't know what to do with homeless people right now.
Not only do they look good, they feel great too. Untuck It offers 50 fit combinations, so tall, short.
We serve everybody's needs. And that keeps people from flipping out. And that keeps the economy spinning. And that keeps the fucking assembly line running.
Our extensive new spring line. Use promo code Canada for 20% off your entire first purchase. Untuckit.ca. Promo code Canada. 680 News now, 241.
Traffic and weather together on the ones. Here's Carrie Prunskis. This report is brought to you by Mitsubishi Motors. We still have this problem on the westbound 401.
East Coast style. It says right at East Coast style.
Because of a collision, it looks like it's almost completely cleared, but there is a slowdown westbound on the 401. It's backed up from Kipling to approaching the 427. That's really the only delay that I'm spotting on the major routes, though. Watch out for some debris that was reported westbound on the
Sardines got off the west coast of North
America. The left lane affected with some plastic or metal debris. MTO crews are still on the way to pick that up, so use extra caution there. And keep in mind on city streets,
I'll eat it until I'm starving. I ain't going to eat it until I'm starving. Fuck that. West Coast, where all the radiation is.
Want a new car without new car payments? Right now at Mitsubishi Motors, don't pay for 90 days on all 2020s. Visit MitsubishiMotors.ca to learn more. And now with the forecast, here's Jill Taylor.
Snow will mix with some rain and then taper to some rain showers. It should all come to an end around 4 or 5 into the evening. Our guaranteed high 3 degrees, -1 for the low. Some gradual clearing tonight. Sun and cloud for tomorrow. The high near +5. For today, the guaranteed high 3.
I don't know what's in this bag. I got
light rain in downtown Toronto, 3 degrees.
It's all good.
Now the Dynamic Funds Market Minute to the Business Center. Here's Richard Southern.
So, Jana, no let-up, I'm afraid, insight for losses on financial markets. We're seeing very much another down day here, with the TSX right now down 500 points, about 4.3%, trading down to 11,340.
The fuck is that? It sounds like someone's banging on my bathtub or something, man. The fuck is that?
Economic impact of all this. The Dow right now is down just over 700 points, 3.75% at 18,457. S&P 500 falls 3.6%. The Nasdaq holding up a little bit better, down 1.5%. The price for oil, a little change here, $22.73, and the Canadian dollar. More losses for that. The loonie trading down to 68.86 cents US. The latest on what we're seeing on the financial markets in some more detail coming up in the business report at 56 past the hour. You're listening to 680 News.
We all need advice from time to time.
No, we don't.
Why should investing be any different? Speak
to a financial advisor today.
and visit dynamic.ca/advice to learn more.
Don't miss the $1 million bonus prize in the Princess Margaret Home Lottery. A luxury condo at One Bloor, built by Great Gulf. The condo
goes up 15% on the year, and I cashed out. This happened. Because I know this is going to happen.
Plus, it comes with $25,000 in cash. Homes, cottages,
15% in a period of time off one investment. It seems a little high. Be careful.
Headline is next week. Tickets at PrincessMargaretLotto.com.
Any percentage. To me, it was 15%. Seemed a little high. It seemed good, but I didn't think it would keep going. How could it keep going? That doesn't make sense.
Accessibility equipment like a stair lift, so I can get to my bedroom on my own. I also have a power wheelchair so I can get around.
And you're going to be a psychiatrist. Right, wait for it.
When I grow up, I want to go to university and be a psychiatrist. With your help, those kids can become unstoppable.
Oh,
Please
more
donate today at
more pieces of weed. Okay, this is good. This is good. Make the joint a little bigger. That's good.
680 News.
Rain in downtown Toronto and 3 degrees right now. Good afternoon from the 680 News Broadcast Center. I'm Slochana Tabasic.
What you need? Bottles of water, hand sanitizer, your circuit breaker keeps popping, your stove ain't working, you need something, and you can't get the normal guy to come in and do it, and you can't leave your house to do it. Who's standing on the corner? Who's standing on the corner? A whole bunch of Bloods and Crips standing side by side. What the hell? Wait. Watch for it. Here comes the HA dropping off the water supply.
Under a state of emergency.
Los Angeles is all veterans. Did you know that originally? That's how it started. That movie about the motorcycle unit and the war was real. That really happened. You didn't know that, did you?
And I think it demonstrates good leadership.
Oh, you all watched Easy Rider, right? I've never seen that one. I think I passed out when it was on.
Right now, we need to focus our energy and our resources
on
getting through this pandemic, and then we can focus on sports when we're all healthy, and we can.
When we say soldiers and veterans, we're not talking about, I sold some drugs on the street, so I'm cool. That's all we're talking about.
The IOC has not confirmed the news. IOC member Dick Pound tells USA Today that the Olympics will, in fact, be postponed and will likely take place in 2021.
Canadian Forces doesn't just look after the soldiers, they look after their families too. We look after the
Panthers are sending quarterback Kyle Allen to Washington for a 5th-round pick. And some good news regarding Charles Barkley, who says his coronavirus test has come back negative. Barkley announced about a week and a half ago that he was getting the test after falling ill. Sports at 15.
Maybe this will get him some fame, right? Back in the
sportsnet.ca/590.
Canada is rich with talent that can transform your business.
I can't remember who he played for. Charles Barkley.
Create a sponsored job post on Indeed.com. Indeed is Canada's #1 source for job applications and
drawing
interviews.
a fucking blank. It was
7
Miami or something like
than all of the job sites combined, according to Talent Nest in 2018. Sponsored job posts can increase visibility, helping you fill positions even faster. Go to Indeed.com/680news and get a $50 credit towards a sponsored post. Terms and conditions apply.
At Tim Hortons, we're proud to serve all of our communities across Canada. During this time, we're all experiencing a few changes to our routines. Here's what you can expect from us. Our drive-thrus are here for you.
Support your local union member.
Your mobile orders. And our delivery partners are here to bring your orders to your door. Because we want to be the kind of good neighbor that every community deserves. Tim Hortons, proudly serving our community.
Here with All News Radio 680 News, as the province issues an emergency order forcing all non-essential businesses to shut down by midnight. Tomorrow, there are questions about school closures.
The reality is, and I think everyone in this province knows, the reality is April the 6th is not realistic right now. We're in a state of emergency. We're making sure that people are safe, and our priority is make sure our kids are safe. That is the #1 priority.
Look how Canadian this is. Maple fucking flavor. What the hell?
Likely they'll be reopening, as you just heard. He says the education minister will reveal more details about schools in the coming days. Canadian Blood Services says it's concerned that the COVID-19 pandemic has led to a spike in cancellations for blood donation appointments in several cities. The organization says it's safe for those who aren't ill to give blood, those who have been told by public health authorities to self-quarantine, or who live with a suspected or confirmed case of COVID-19 are also barred from donating for 14 days after their last contact with the infected or potentially infected patient. The agency says Canada's blood inventory is currently strong, but the cancellations are worrying, given that shortages have been reported in other countries affected by the coronavirus.
Yeah, but those other countries got lots of problems.
Industrial production nationwide.
It's not the people with the coronavirus needing the blood. It's the whole fucking cycle of things together fucking shit up.
In that country.
Some poor bastard has nothing to do with this virus. He needs that blood.
To advertise restrictions on movements as the death toll from coronavirus now closes in on 5,500 people and the number of cases near 60,000. One medic saying they're not eating or even going to the bathroom during their shift because they need to preserve their protective gear.
I'm not concerned for myself. The only problem is that I'm worried that if I get sick, I cannot help.
That's not true. You get sick, you'll get better again. And you come back stronger.
The highest death toll in the world.
More than 1.5 billion people, the world's population is being asked or ordered to stay home as the new virus infections soar. South of the border, a growing list of counties in Florida have shut down their beaches as the number of cases in the states surpass 1,000 in that state of Florida. County officials say they're trying to comply with guidelines restricting groups to fewer than 10 people.
For the teacher, I want him to go away.
However, it's having none of it.
So keep the doctor away.
Hold
on, I need 2 apples. Damn it.
Pay money so that they can enjoy the beach. Don't have it closed.
The state senator remains in self-quarantine after an interaction with the Brazilian president before he tested positive for COVID-19. So far, 13 people have died statewide in Florida. Traffic and weather together next.
6:30 News Time, 2:50. Over 50, it's time to take the at-home colon cancer test.
Somewhere.
Why? Because colon cancer is 90% curable when found early. Plus,
this looks like something I would use to start a fire, eh?
Just collect your sample and mail it in.
Want to try that as an experiment? We'll light some shred and weed on fire, see what happens.
So ask your healthcare provider for the kit and visit ontario.ca.
Come home to your house, you see a little bit of smoke. Smells like
paid for by the government of Ontario.
You see a big pile of cereal on the front because I'm blowing up your house.
She said no. She's not feeling well. She's fine. She's just.
The only reason I'm going to try to eat this because you're hypocritical of me not to. Blueberry, strawberry. This one's mixed berry. That'd be hypocritical. The mixed blood wouldn't eat it. I don't eat no mixed berries. I deal with pure strawberry or pure blueberry, no mix. I'll get down with them. You know what they're like. I'm not racist. I'm just saying.
By Beer Canada.
6:30 News Time, 2:51.
Traffic and weather together on the ones. Here's Carrie Prunskis. This report is brought to you by Queensway Hyundai. I watched problems clear westbound on the 401 approaching the 427 just a couple of minutes ago. Everything all reopened there, and it looks like delays eased off very quickly. So westbound 401 now looks good from Kipling to the 427. Eastbound on the 401, still no problems affecting that route. It's moving well. Same goes for the DVP, the Garner, and the QEW, but just be careful on the westbound QEW as you head past the Ford plant. We had some earlier reports of some debris in the left lane. Not sure if MTO's made it to the scene just yet. Downtown Wellington, that is shut down in both directions from east of Portland to Spadina. That's all for a fire investigation. And some construction on Davenport from Bedford to Avenue Road. Only one lane is getting through each way. Come experience the Hyundai Advantage at Queensway Hyundai with 0% lease or finance. And have you heard of Hyundai Smart Park? Find out more at queenswayhyundai.ca. And now with the extended forecast, here's Jill Taylor. A winter still trying to hold on, battling it out with spring. We've got the snow mixing with rain. It'll taper to some rain showers and then should all come to an end around 4 or 5 as we head into the early evening. Guaranteed high 3 degrees. Any snow not going to stick around for long. We'll climb to 5 degrees tomorrow. Start temperature about -1. Sun and cloud for Tuesday, and for Wednesday cloudy and up to 6. For today, the guaranteed high 3.
Light rain in downtown Toronto and 3 degrees.
Coming up at 3, we'll have the latest from the province as Premier Ford orders an emergency shutdown of non-essential businesses in Ontario and says schools will not be resuming April 6th.
This is 680 News. Ciao, I'm Dominic Riberci. Pizza Nova was founded by my family in 1963. Today, we're still family-owned, serving hand-tossed pizzas made from only the finest quality ingredients. On behalf of our family, we invite you to think Italian and taste the difference.
Over the coming days and weeks, news on the coronavirus may become overwhelming. It has never been more important to stay informed of the latest local, provincial, and federal authorities to keep you and your family safe. 680 News continues to bring you the facts and information you need as this situation continues to unfold. Now's the time to remain calm and stay safe. We are here with you, and we'll always be here. This is 680 News.
Canada's Foreign Affairs Minister is bringing some good news to Canadians stranded in the middle of Peru's COVID-19 lockdown. Francois Philippe Champagne tweeting out just a few moments ago.
Oh my God, that is such a French name!
Have been secured to bring Canadians home. Over the course of this week, those needing a flight home will need to fill out a registration form on the federal government's website. Anyone returning from international destinations is required to self-isolate for 14 days. Prime Minister Trudeau fed up with people who are not following those rules.
Me too.
Enough is enough, and by choosing
Hey, Mr. Trudeau, technically you get to order the forces around. I'll listen to you. I don't like you as Prime Minister, but I'm not disloyal.
Or your friend with a pre-existing condition.
Black lawyers, you know that's
about, right? Doctors on the front lines. Our workers stocking shelves at a grocery store. They need you to make the right choices. They need you to do your part.
He says go home and stay there. He says the government is going to make sure that happens.
And stay there.
Is now being considered. Business is
the Prime Minister said so. Our Prime Minister said so.
Is awesome. Every day it connects millions of Canadians to their communities with local news, traffic, and weather, local sports, entertainment, and events. But don't just take my word for it. There's also my mom.
Hello.
My sister and her kid.
And he's called the Prime Minister because he's only divisible by himself and the number one.
My coworkers, my local taxi driver, even weird Uncle Andy.
Go on, pull my finger.
You think I don't clean this shit? Oh,
where you live.
If I had a dozen of them, I'd just switch them over and over. I don't. So, I do. More out shit.
To be a part of something bigger.
To show my kids what's important.
I joined to make my community stronger.
To make a difference.
I joined to make money selling drugs to hookers. Oh, you're talking about something else.
Come at a cost.
I joined to honor my mom.
My grandpa.
My neighbor.
Everyone who served.
Who are serving still. Honoring veterans is our duty. Join today at legion.ca/join. 680 News Time, 256.
Now the 680 News Business Report. Here is Richard Southern.
Thanks, Janet. Good afternoon. No let-up in sight, I'm afraid, for the selling on financial markets. Very much here another down afternoon as we approach the last hour of trade. Investors in the United States, they're not liking the fact that politicians in Washington, D.C. cannot see eye to eye on a $2 trillion rescue package for the American economy that is seemingly stalled in the U.S. Congress. Right now, we have the Dow Jones Industrial Average down 615 points, about 3.2% to 18,558. S&P 500 is down 3%. Wall Street here down to the level.
So we're going to live in a concrete building.
Of 2016. NASDAQ's down 61 points. At the corner of T and Bay, the TSX is down 506 points, about 4.25% to 11,000.
People got to stop eating strange animals, eh?
I should mention as well.
Civet cats. It's bad enough you collect the coffee beans from the shit of the civet cats.
Today for the first time.
You're going to eat the same animal? That's
not even unprecedented moves by the U.S. Central Bank.
And it's greedy, too. Why would you eat the civet when you could just wait for it to eat some coffee and collect the coffee? Sell that. Buy yourself some steak or something. What's wrong with you?
Support these financial markets. The Fed as well will be moving for the first time into corporate bonds, purchasing investment-grade securities in both primary and secondary markets through exchange-traded funds. Again, some unprecedented moves by the central bank, but investors seemingly brushing that aside today. Let's take a look at some of the stocks on the move right now. We have shares.
Why are you doing these
the world's largest coffee seller, down more than 3%. Starbucks said it would close most of its locations across North America for 2 weeks. General Electric down about 6% after the company announced its aviation unit would be laying off about 10% of its workforce. And electronics retailer Best Buy saying its stock dropped more than 3% after it withdrew its financial guidance for the year. Big winners on the Toronto market, though, include the gold miners. Toronto-based Barrick is up 10%. Would you believe the price for gold today? With its biggest...
The mining companies are not directly related to the value of the gold, the underlying inherent value of the gold. This is just idiots throwing money around on the market.
$567 US the ounce. Price for oil managing a gain of 73
the gold
cents
you're buying on the market is certificates. There's no requirement for the gold to actually exist.
But some more airports, Canadian airports, they say, confronting the prospect
so no matter how much they mine.
$2 billion in losses over the next few months as travelers stay home. The projected revenue
negative losses
could be as much as, again, 2.2.
If nobody's there, what are you?
So again,
how are you gonna have losses?
On the order of 3 to 4% across the board. We got the Canadian dollar trading lower to 68.86 cents.
How much fucking cocaine and heroin's gonna come through that airport in the next 3 months? Jesus. On the trains, fucking car, everything. Oh, the border's closed. Yeah, except for Air America, Air Canada, and fucking the trains. But the car companies. The car companies have a special. People like to talk about NAFTA. Oh, if we don't have NAFTA, what are the car companies going to do? They don't bother looking into it. Way before NAFTA, there was agreements between Canada and the United States. So for one thing, all of our coins are the exact same size. Why? So the change is interchangeable. So all the regular people can cross the border and cross back and cross the border, and you don't have to change your money every goddamn time because all the coins are the same. My quarter will feed your parking meter. The other thing they have is exemptions on the, so how do I put this? Some of the factories, so the car doesn't just get built in one factory. They get shipped from place to place to place to place. If the factory's on opposite sides of the border, and the incomplete assembly has to be shipped back and forth across the border, they don't pay duties and taxes on that, which means they don't have to stop the train and check it for customs purposes. Go check the Washington Post or wherever when they fucking got caught, what, a year or two ago? Moving crystal, last year I think, moving crystal meth in the trunk of a car on a train going from Mexico to Canada or some shit. You think that's the only time they did that? There's 180 kilos. Somebody said, where's the other 20 kilos? As soon as I told them the story.
All non-essential workplaces are now being shut down.
And the gravity of this order does not escape me.
And children will not be going back to school on April 6th. Enough is enough. The Prime Minister
no offense, Mr. Brown. I'm glad that you didn't win this election and you are instead the mayor of Brent. I don't like what those girls did. I know what they did. They're scallywags, but
the IOC is
I bet you're thinking the same thing right now too, right?
According to one veteran,
you really want these problems?
And the NHL chimes in with a little bit of news today. Sports 15.
Another
what? The fucking Zamboni drivers are racing? What? What news could you have from NHL?
Slide 650. Business at 26.
6 news time 301.
Traffic and weather together on the ones. Gary Prunskis.
This report is brought to you by 407 ETR. We have a new problem affecting city streets. Eastbound on Bloor at Castle Franks, the right lane is blocked because of a stalled vehicle. There is a tow truck on the scene, and delays are building very quickly on eastbound Bloor. It's getting jammed up now from Sherbourne right through to Castle Frank. So consider an alternate route to Rosedale Valley Road looks okay. And sticking with city streets, we still have Wellington shut down in both directions from Draper to Spadina. That's Wellington closed from east of Portland to Spadina, and that's for an ongoing fire investigation. As for the major routes, not spotting any problems right now and no delays. Everything is very lightly traveled. 407 ETR would like to thank all the healthcare workers and essential services who are working tirelessly for our communities through difficult times. 407etr.com. Stay safe.
But you still charge them a transponder fee, don't
Natasha,
you?
It looks like the wet weather is slowly but surely making its way out. Yes, slowly. We're still going to wait for some drizzle.
Tim Hortons, even though it's illegal, it's not illegal for them to do, but it's illegal for the cops to accept. Tim Hortons, in their book, tells you the cops get free coffee if they're in uniform.
After this, it'll be the drizzle through the
healthcare workers, if you care about them so much, you should have given them a free transponder.
Dropped to -1, and then,
oh, so you always have healthcare workers on your road.
More cloud in the afternoon. It's a dry Tuesday and milder at 7 degrees.
You don't think about these things. You're not gangster with it. You're teachers. Ontario Teachers Pension Fund owns that shit. They the dumbest motherfuckers in the province.
Tory is holding a news conference right now announcing a state of emergency in Toronto.
Meanwhile, the province has just announced all non-essential businesses will close and kids will not be returning to class on April 6th. 680's Mama Crushy joins us with the latest.
As the number of confirmed cases of COVID-19 continues to rise in Ontario, the province continues to tighten up restrictions, and now Premier Ford has taken a major step forward by declaring all non-essential workplaces will be shut down. So what does that mean?
It means food will remain on the shelves. It means Ontarians will still have access to their medications and essential products. It means the
I'm getting Canadian currency too.
Communications will continue to run. But it also means that every Ontarian must do their part.
But there does still seem to be some confusion.
Do your job and let the next man down the line do his.
Workplace. The Premier says that clarification will be coming tomorrow. The Premier also making another major announcement saying that students will not be returning to class on April 6th as originally planned. There is no new date as to when that return could happen. I'm Momin Qureshi.
This is 680 News. The health minister trying to calm fears that the province is running short of face masks and other protective equipment for hospital workers.
We have an adequate supply of personal protective equipment, and we are actively working with the federal government to obtain more, as well as with other organizations within Ontario that might not need that equipment right now. A lot of dentists, for example, because they're not practicing.
Can you go raid
cosmetic
the fucking
surgeons and other facial surgeons. We are
shut down hospitals that are just sitting there and take all that medical equipment? They got brand new MRI machines sitting in hospitals for 10 fucking years.
Its COVID-19
padlocked.
self-assessment tool. It takes users through a series of questions about their symptoms and will help them determine if they're likely to have the virus and what to do next.
Well, I kind of figured that out when you told me the symptoms and how to get it, and that happened, and then I got the symptoms. I'm pretty sure it's what I got.
In a video conference just moments ago, Tory made that announcement.
We know the number of COVID-19 cases continues to increase in our city, and that the next few days are absolutely crucial.
You're not gangster. Shut up.
Efforts to slow down
You're not
the
the mayor,
of
bro.
COVID-19. In making this declaration, I strongly encourage our
When he makes
residents
this
to continue to
declaration,
take
the
every
power goes up to the
in
province,
protecting
the province to the
yourselves
feds.
and protecting your fellow
He's
citizens. Stay at
ceding
home,
authority now.
Stay safe, and only buy essential supplies, for example, once a week.
This decision means
They shouldn't have to explain that shit
many
to
other
people.
decisions about how the city deals with the pandemic can be made without city council.
This portion of the news brought to you by Von Chrysler. Happening now downtown, fire crews remain at the scene of a 3-alarm event. Broke out this afternoon.
Event? It's an event now. Whoa, are we inviting people? Can I bring my dog and a beer?
There was flames shooting out the windows. The trucks had already started to arrive. They shoot it from the outside with water to start, but then the firefighters went in pretty quick.
The land and building at 424 Wellington had been designated as a historic property by the city.
You're with All News Radio.
That explains it, because if they want to do anything with it, they can't get permission to it, so they just do it. They fucking have a fire or
Hundreds of
some
millions
shit.
of dollars to help create and produce vaccines for COVID-19. The government also unveiling advertisements to hammer home the importance of social distancing.
The ad campaign is being launched as the Trudeau government boosts its warnings that if people don't listen to official advice, they could be forced to enact further measures and penalties. The multimedia campaign features Canada's Chief Public Health Officer, Dr. Theresa Tam, urging Canadians to practice social distancing and good personal hygiene, something she and Health Minister Patty Hajdu have been stressing for weeks.
It is essential that people are following the advice of
Oh, yeah,
public
people
health.
act like they're good people and have big reputation, big egos and all this shit. And they do the dirtiest things when they think people aren't looking.
Japan, likely addressing the decision by Canada's Olympic Committee.
See that?
not
Back
to
of the
send
thumb.
athletes
Not
to
my.
the Tokyo
I
Summer
don't fucking
Games
rub my eyes like
unless
that. I
they're
got something in
delayed
there. I
by
gotta get it
the
out.
government is also getting ready for a quick resumption of Parliament, with the House of Commons being recalled tomorrow to quickly
Just
approve
from
the
this side,
$82
use the other
billion
hand, eh?
financial aid
Well,
package
you got two.
for workers and businesses struggling through this pandemic. Cormac McSweeney, Parliament Hill. This is 680 News. Ontario today reporting the biggest one-day jump in confirmed
COVID-19 cases, and there's another update on the way. 680's Irene Franklin joins us live with the latest numbers. Irene.
And James, 78 new cases announced this morning, bringing the provincial total to 503. The number includes 6 people who have died of the illness, 8 who have recovered. At least 6 of the new cases have required hospitalization, including a woman in her 30s, a man in his 40s, 2 people in their 50s, and 2 in their 70s. Of the cases that have listed sources, many are travel-related, some also due to close contact. Another update coming from the province at 5:30. Reporting live, Irene Franklin, 680 News.
Why didn't smoke a joint all day?
This is 680 News. The Conference Board of Canada is out with its forecast of the economic impact from COVID-19. The research organization says if social distancing continues until the end of August, Canada and the U.S. will fall into a recession. It's predicting the Canadian economy could shed over 330,000 jobs over the second and third quarters of this year. Industries servicing tourism, household services, and resource sector construction would be hit particularly hard.
And the
first thing they stop buying is weed.
The
first thing they stop buying is weed.
Air Canada, Air Transat, WestJet, and
Oh, I'm gangster with it. I pay attention to my fucking my people.
Earlier today, there would be 3 new Air Canada flights to bring Canadians back from Peru.
The last thing they stop buying is the cigarettes. I know.
2 more Air Canada flights.
I ain't ripping them off. I got the best deal I can. $20 for 20 cigarettes. Get
Coronavirus has
the
hit
fuck out of
Ontario's
here,
public
man.
television broadcaster.
What
The
gas
agenda
stations
host
give
Steve
a rock for
Bacon
that shit?
says an employee has tested positive for COVID-19. The station's headquarters at Yonge and Eglinton is being sanitized today.
This is 680 News.
The Power of Zero sales event at Von Chrysler. It's back for a limited time with 0% financing options. Don't miss the sales event and take advantage of huge savings now. Get up to 35% on all remaining in-stock Rams. Get 23% off the limited X model Grand Cherokee.
The little tiny one too. That's the little bastard that poked the hole at the last second.
Act fast though. Von Chrysler has less than 10 left to choose from. Hey, you don't want to miss this special edition. Drop by for all the details or visit VonChrysler.com or at Weston Road and Highway 407.
City streets happening now around town. Wellington remains closed both ways from east of Portland to Spadina for that fire investigation. And eastbound Bloor at Castle Frank, the right lane is blocked with a stalled vehicle. Now, 680 News, gas price update. And Pro predicts the price will not change at midnight. Traffic and weather in 60 seconds.
There, man. What?
680 News Time, 310.
They would never normally report that one stalled car on a regular street. They would normally not report that.
That's right, sports fans. There's another Ozmac on the way. The words pregnant and good night's sleep, though, don't exactly mix. I was struggling. Enter the sleep
that's how you get pregnant, isn't it?
They helped me pick the right pillow for my unique sleep needs. Turns out the BioSoy pillow was the perfect choice. The high-density foam adapts to my head and neck to better support my tired back. Trust me, when you're midway through your 3rd trimester, you need all the support you can get. And the all-natural hypoallergenic cover provides comfort all night long. Thanks to my new BioSoy pillow, I am sleeping like a baby. Right now, buy one BioSoy pillow at Sleep Country and get a second BioSoy pillow free. Restrictions apply. See store for details. Sleep Country, all for sleep.
680 News Time, 311.
Traffic and weather together on the ones. Carrie.
This report is brought to you by Ruth's Chris Steakhouse. Eastbound on the 401, we have a delay right now as you head through Mississauga Road. MTO just put in a stalled vehicle east of Mississauga Road, just reported that, but a few minutes later, they just cleared it away. So we had a problem there briefly. So eastbound 401, it's heavy as you head through Mississauga Road, but that's the only delay that I'm spotting on the major routes right now. Everything else is lightly traveled. Getting around city streets, we have this stalled vehicle eastbound on Bloor at Castle Frank. That's taking out the right lane, so traffic is slow going from Sherbourne. And also, don't forget that downtown Wellington is shut down in both directions between Draper and Spadina. That's all for a fire investigation. In the north end of the city, some construction on Shepherd in both directions east of the 400. It's reduced to a single lane, and that project is in place until the end of July.
$1,200 for a Kurt Vonnegut set of books than a fucking iPhone,
their guests the very best at this difficult difficult time. And also remind you that takeout and delivery service are now available online. Place your order at rootschris.ca.
Well, if you're still advertising, we know that you do takeout and delivery because you're not allowed to do nothing else,
are you? Very damp out there, Carrie. We got 2 centimeters of wet snow across the north to GTA, 5 to 10 millimeters of rain. We'll have some drizzle as we go into this evening and fog patches, and then we'll start to slowly clear that out overnight tonight, waking up to -1. 7 degrees will be the daytime high, and it's going to be a dry Tuesday, a mix of sun and cloud. Wednesday, 8 degrees, mainly cloudy. We are watching a low pressure system just grazing us to the south. Could squeeze out a couple of midday showers on Wednesday. If it pushes further south, we'll be dry. Tonight, we're down to a low of -1. Right now, out at Pearson, it is 3 degrees.
Now, the Dynamic Funds Market Minute, Richard Southern.
Hey, James, good afternoon. More losses here on financial markets, even with the U.S. Central Bank promising to basically do whatever it takes to support the financial system in the United States. The Fed today talking about how it will have an unlimited asset purchase program. Investors, though, they're looking at Washington, D.C., where there is gridlock right now as far as passing a big stimulus bill is concerned. And that's probably one of the big reasons why we're looking at some more losses here. Dow Jones Industrial Average right now is down 561 points, about 3%. S&P 500 falls 2 3/4%. On Bay Street, the TSX is down 486 points. That's another 4%, knocked off of Canada's main stock index, which is trading down to 11,364. NASDAQ holding up a little bit better. Some of the tech
time for me to buy in. Oh, there was only a 3-month gap there. Hey, I cashed out in January. It's only March. Damn, I timed that good. Holy.
The Canadian dollar moving a little bit lower here. It is down to 68.83 cents. U.S. big $83 move higher for gold today. The yellow metal rallies. That's your market minute. This is 680 News.
It's not yellow, it's gold.
Research shows that households with a financial advisor save nearly twice the rate versus those who don't. To learn more, visit dynamic.ca/advice.
Yellow.
Why Tyndale?
I want to buy some yellow.
University that will inspire and challenge you to think differently, see in new ways, and prepare you for the future.
Classes are taught by professors who are involved in research and passionate about teaching.
The average class size is 22.
Professors help you discover your future opportunities.
Isn't it like the age of the average student or something?
Tyndale is a university that prepares you to follow your dreams, become the person you are meant to be, and live out your faith.
Apply now at Tyndale.ca.
Those are conflicting interests. Straight goods. Straight goods is a conflicting interest. Presto. Motherfucker. We got that Metro links with the Presto Pass to get that instant grant. This is the jacket banging into things. Let it snow. 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 Oh, why did you freeze? Oh dear, what the fuck happened? Why is the house? We go from 20% to 80 and we've done nothing. What the fuck? Open the fucking shit up, you cocksucker. Oh my god, you piece of crap. Fucking whore.
I mean, that's it. Too much. Hey yo, I'm getting stomach pains. I'm getting pain in the brain. It's driving me insane for things that I did last night to train. It's what I'm singing, man. You gotta understand. I got no chain to swing.
Motherfucker, what the fuck are you fucking doing?
What's wrong with him? Listen. I rock with a flame like Glock, the clock back stropper. One shot to have you niggas screaming like the opera. It's black like Oprah, straight King Cobra. Top left over your heart, shoots through shoulders. It burns like second degree, but who's stepping to me? Please free, right hand when I inject it, I'm free. Rich niggas move calm and collective. That chain ain't shit unless your palm can protect it. My palms can protect mine. Empty up the tech line. I don't give a fuck about jail, I'll lose that time. Feds find your body in the building cause we killed you. Like who's realer? Got tools like Bob the Builder. All I really wanted was a gun and a vest. Like who's next to get shot in my complex? And I'm straight stressed. Rob money when time sets. I'll take a nigga's vest or leave a nigga timeless. I grew up with no motivation. Drive right past the cops and investigations. Pump with no registration. Pull me over like, sir, we arresting you. Shotgun, stolen car, and cash out the register. You say tomato, well I say tomato. West End Toronto, squirt heat like volcanoes. I must confess, my life ain't picture perfect. Was on top, got knocked, now fucking hurting. All I got left is pride and my dignity. And a finger in the middle if you ain't digging me. My family matters, the big guy, Carl Winslow. Minus the badge with big shots, blast windows. Stay cool like the other side of the pillow. I serve shots like the fox on the fucking fiddle. Don't know your name, so you better take it slow, dog. Yo, MCA, where the fuck's Cannon, no, dog? You little faggots better run up, cause I won't stop till the zipper on my body bag is done up. Heard you got drugs, then Jeezy's gon' pick up. Roll up with his lip up, big pump, this a stick up. 7-5 block, bust shots, you'll get lit up. Beat back like a hiccup, burn up like a sit up.
Windows. I wonder.
It's Christ, Samson, be not, let the beat rock. Yeah. Hey yo, you know I'm about to go off. Nova Scotian show off. We're frozen doper than an Okanagan go off. The homie Brody told me he had a beat, he needed me to flow on. So we formed together like Voltron. Shit so sick, it'll make you wanna throw up. Sicker than a mix of liquor, piss, and coleslaw. So raw, disgusting. Nikolai Volkov with the punches and I'm lunging with a bunch of them. Stuff them in your ugly ring for lunch again. I microwave a hungry man until he's fucking dead. Understand? I'm an animal, a baboon, an orangutan with tattoos. Driving up fast food, swing a dang-a-lang. Hang with me. You're probably catching a couple chargers. I'm not the hardest, I'm just an artist who's motherfucker retarded. You wanted to harm me? Hell, don't be dumb. You should have come with an army plus some rum and some drugs ready to party.
I don't know where my mind is, my mind's lost. I don't know if I'll find it or how to. All I know is
you gon' put that shit on like that's the shit, cause
I don't know where my mind is, my mind's lost. I don't know if I'll find it or how to. All I know is this.
You gon' put my shit on like holy shit.
Yeah. Doing blow until I throw up. Coke all in my nose crust. Don't trust Brody when he's smoking that stuff. Me and Christopher the illest for sure. Fist the bitch was in trouble before ditching to stick my dick in the corpse. Drinking till I'm dizzy, drunk and piss on the floor. Fucking your bitch until the clitoris sore. I'm on a mission for the riches and whores. I bottle of the liquor with some pills I can snort. This the sort of shit I spit for kicks when I'm bored. East Coast rider shit. We smoke by the split. We don't like a snitch. Beast mode fight a bitch. Depot riding with some heat. So violent. G cold silent. Jeans go slider past my cheeks. So 90s with a mean cold smile. I'm a G no lie. I got a bottle of the Keats and I think I'm gonna drink. So I'm peace and don't find me.
I don't know where my mind is. My mind's lost. I don't know if I'll find it or how to. All I know is this.
You gon' put that shit on like that's the shit, cause
I don't know where my mind is. My mind's lost. I don't know if I'll find it or how to. All I know is this.
You gon' put my shit on like holy shit. Now ain't that some shit? Holy shit. Yeah. Shout out to DJ Mike Soul.
That's not shuffled if you're just playing the same things again.
Yeah. Yeah. That's
And mama knows she didn't raise no quitter. Follow me just like a fan on Twitter. You know I'm getting my props just like a parrot top. So if you with me, get your goddamn hands. Yeah. Mama knows she didn't raise no quitter. Follow me just like a fan on Twitter. You know I'm getting my props just like a parrot top. So if you with me, get your get your damn hands up. Right, listen in. Teach you some discipline. The ABSTRAKT again. Still up your bed pause. Don't come out after dark. Real gangsters talking while Iron Man this really starts.
Fuck, why is this all fucked up?
Explore your mind all the time. Whether freestyle the written. Did you bring your mittens? Better grab a sweater. Smells like burnt toast. MCs I roasted it. I'm so much better. Just trying to get noticed. But I'll do it regardless of whether my dreams are hopeless. So don't lose focus. No HD, do it for hip-hop, so thank God for my ABCs, yeah. And still you know where I'm coming from. When the mic is live, you could call it troublesome. Damn, there goes another one, biting the dust rapidly. Call me your majesty, I took the crown so drastically. All those rapping after me, best to bring your A-game. While I maintain the elevation of an airplane. On another level, recognize it's abstract, sounds good. Yo, Matty Hood, bring the hook back. And mama knows she didn't raise no quitter. Now follow me just like the fan on Twitter. You know I'm going to get my props just like I'm carrot top. So if you with me, get your goddamn hands up. And mama knows she didn't raise no quitter. Now follow me just like a fan on Twitter. You know I'm going to get my props just like I'm carrot top. So if you with me, get your goddamn hands up. Now we've all been through the highs and the lows. Continue carrying on with the rhymes and the flows. Keep your head held high and always stay focused. Make your magic happen, then poof, it's hocus pocus. Like I wave my magic wand and make amazing happen. Ain't the NBA, but you could say I'm full court trapping. Yeah, I got this shit on lock and consistently getting better after each tick-tock of the clock. What do I gotta prove to get it through to you? Nothing in the way of the dreams that I pursue. Everybody needs one, cause once it's yours, it's yours. A wise man once told me that when it rains, it pours. Correct me if I'm wrong, but if I'm not mistaken, life's what you make it, and this world is mine never taken. So step aside, your reflection's in my rear view. No surprise, my eyes got a THC crystal clear. And mama knows she didn't raise no quitter. Just like a fan on Twitter. They get my props just like a carrot top. So if you with me, get your goddamn hands up. Yeah. Mama knows she didn't raise no quitter. Just like a fan on Twitter. They get my props just like a carrot top. So if you with me, get your goddamn hands up. Alright, well, if you haven't caught on yet, you should know that I terrorize like a bomb threat. Putting in work, my soul pumped into every line and ball full of pride, confidence high. Yo, man, it's Salazar. Give you a sample of what you can handle, and if you want to gamble, get burnt like a candle. The skill level sample, my stampede will trample. It's Halloween, and I got the goods. Come get a handful.
1 for her, 5 for me, right. So 4/5. I get 5/4. I give her 4/5. The fuck? Frederick, you don't count straight.
It's don't get close. It's raw dog. You know it. Yeah, we look at it, man. Keeping his back, 40s and 5s, beam on the map, hop out the whip, using the mask, 40 with 30s, you do the map. Hey, nigga said he wanna kill me, nigga, I'm right here, nigga. Hey, real deal, you a Toy Story bus light year, nigga. Trapping his head, trapping his back, 40s and 5s, beam on the map, hop out the whip, using the mask, 40s with 30s, you do the map. Hey, nigga said he wanna kill me, nigga, I'm right here, nigga. Hey, real deal, you a Toy Story bus light year, nigga. Niggas on my dick, so I hit him with the verse. Clientele link, gotta hit him with the work. I'm just block shit, gets on my nerves. Left the band though, I'll be back on the verse. Don't get close, no, I won't get hurt. Run up with a frown, walk off with a smirk. Now I put it down, send him to the nurse. Shorty got bands, tell me what is yours worth. Mine for the block, came straight from the third. Take her up the ends, move to the birth. Got coke, got crack, got perks. Got beef, rap bullets that hurt. Hands over bread like sesame seeds. Big bird on the block, Sesame Street. Whip, 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 turn a trip to a treat. I don't got friends, man, I only got feet. Capping his head, trapping his back. 40s and 5s, beam on the map. Hop out the whip, using the mask. 40 with 30s, you do the map. Hey, nigga said he wanna kill me, nigga, I'm right here, nigga. Hey, real deal, you a Toy Story bus light year, nigga. Trapping his head,
We're not like the other sets. We know what we are. These fucking idiots all think, oh, I steal things and sell drugs, therefore I'm a gang member. Okay, buddy. That's what your set. Don't talk to my set. Militant, militia. Black Panther Party.
Feel the energy. Rockers. Feel the energy. It's the prophecy. Push on hip hop. Let your body rock. And we won't stop. Let your body rock. And we won't stop.
See how long that takes? That's an incredibly clear recording. That phone is
Nigga, we some hooligans. This is for my haters. Yeah, we got the greatest flow. Sipping on that medicine. You know we got that medical. Ready to go. Nigga, we some hooligans. This is for my haters. Yeah, we got the greatest flow. Sipping on that medicine. You know we got that medical. Ready to go. Nigga, we some hooligans. Ready to go. Nigga, we some hooligans. I know why haters. Yeah, we got that greatest flow. Sipping on that medicine. You know that shit is medical. Ready to go. Y'all with some hooligans. Y'all with some hooligans.
Mission boy, these rappers be tripping. Shit used to be cold, now I'm cooking in the kitchen. Right slash sunny, listen, lane switching, steady dipping. I'm not here to play. I've been walking through hell, I'm not here to stay. You asking what I'm burning? Smoking Mumbai, and who are they? A bunch of haters with nothing so good to say. OC, MTL, mark this on your log. We bringing so much smoke, the streets catching all the fog. I ain't a pro, this my job. Fire behind the power, I'll devour like the mob. Everyone got a prop. Keep it humble in the meantime. You'll see why I got a gut in a stink like I'm blowing up beehives. I've been chilling in the shadows, playing for battle, a kid to travel and then skedaddle. Go meet the gavel, start giving me space. So if I get lucky with this money, then I'll be pulling that ace.
Sipping on that medicine, you know we got that medical. Ready to go, nigga with some hooligans. Ready to go, nigga with some hooligans. That is for my haters, though. Yo, we got that greatest flow. Sipping on that medicine, you know that shit is medical. Ready to go, with some hooligans. Y'all with some hooligans. Man, I be grinding, I'm on my grind, bro. And I be smoking on that killer that be that hydro. But famous nigga, yeah, you know we getting high, yo. Smoking on that purple cause I don't fuck with that lean, though. Oh my god, killing shit like my name is Zod. Superman flying high like I'm in the fucking clouds. Rating black, got my back rolling, push straight up out the pack. And my O's and Cheerios. Yes, I'm selling hoes, playing just a hooligan. And you know we play the
red. That's what this is. Nothing wrong with it.
I gotta hit the block at 6. I gotta chop, he need a piss. Phony ain't called letters. Sliding through the party squick. Pussy niggas talking shit. I ain't telling lies. F1, yeah, that's my click. No key up next, bitch. Haters on that trolling shit. I can never get rid of this. This is for my haters, though. Yeah, we got the greatest flow. Sipping on that medicine. You know we got that medical. Ready to go. Nigga with some hooligans. Ready to go.
It's funny. Obviously, a lot of shitload of people have money in their physical possession, right? But when the shit hits the fan, you become a hoarder. You don't want to spend it. When you come to way, you're like, sorry, buddy, I'm broke. You got $2 grand in your pocket. Sorry, buddy, I'm broke. You don't fucking tell nobody, right? You don't spend it. You spend even less. You'll pull a $5 bill, a $5 bill in a change. Be my nigga. Go to the store once a day.
Be my nigga. With the shit with some savages. Be my nigga. Stay with us so bad, bitch. Always smoking on gas with us. Rolling papers don't pass. We ain't nothing like the mother guys. Fuck with us, you went for a surprise.
fuck, I still got some going, and I waited till the next thing.
With that story, Michelle.
Tell it's raining. You can tell it's raining from the signal of the radio. You young kids wouldn't know about that.
The reality is, April the 6th is not realistic right now. We're in a state of emergency. We're making sure that people are safe.
The title was clickbait.
Our priority is make sure our kids are safe. That is the number one priority.
The Premier also says Education Minister Stephen Lecce is working on an official timeline for students to return, but the situation is changing daily. In a release, Ontario's largest school board, the Toronto District School Board, says we are awaiting additional information and will update our community as soon as possible. School boards in York Region and Peel echoing that statement on Twitter. The Education Minister expected to provide an update in the coming days. Reporting live, I'm Michelle Mackey.
This is 680 News. Mayor Tory announcing today a state of emergency has been declared in Toronto. Tory says it came after the city's first COVID death that came over the weekend.
We need to do everything we can to spread down, just to turn down the curve on COVID-19.
I told you that wasn't a real term. That's why he's stuttering over it.
This is a battle we must win, but we're only going to win it if we all work together, we all join together to do what's right and to do what has been advised to us by the health experts. We have to take action all together and now.
The state of emergency allows the city to move quickly to make decisions. We'll be hearing from the medical officer of health as well.
Watch how quickly things happen now, and you're going to be hearing about shit.
To Canadians, his government is prepared now to take extreme measures if people don't heed the advice from officials about social distancing and self-isolation. This comes as the feds invest millions of dollars in a new ad campaign and the production of a vaccine.
Like a parent scolding a child, the Prime Minister says enough is enough. People need to go home and stay home. Justin Trudeau is concerned with the number of people ignoring official advice and packing playgrounds, parks, and other public places over the weekend.
You're not just putting yourself at risk, you're putting others at risk too.
And if people don't listen, Trudeau warns his government's looking at tools in the Emergencies and Quarantine Acts, not ruling out limiting Canadians' movements within the country and closing provincial borders. The NDP's Jagmeet Singh is hesitant to support such a move.
Have that right now on the East Coast.
Those who don't have a place to go, those who have limited resources are often the ones that are most targeted by these types of measures.
Meanwhile, the Prime Minister also announcing $192 million in additional funding for companies developing a vaccine for COVID-19. He warns that could still take months. The Fed's also freeing up $5 billion in loans to help farmers in the agriculture industry put food on your table. On the Tokyo Olympics, he says Team Canada's decision to skip it unless it's delayed by a year is the right call. Cormac makes 20 Parliament Hill.
We can't tell you what to do. We're going to tell you what we're not going to do. You're going to take a fucking hit. That's where every
people been tested in Canada. That's an average
group,
of
military, political, crime group, country, whatever the fuck you call yourself. Don't fuck with Canada.
In addition, we are seeing more cases that are not linked to travel. Most concerning of all are the cases occurring among high-risk populations in vulnerable settings and communities.
She says social distancing and staying home will buy researchers the critical time they need to develop a vaccine or cure.
Food Banks Canada is supporting over 650 food banks nationwide, and now more than ever, they need your help. Food insecurity is already a problem across the country, and at this critical and uncertain time, these issues have only intensified. Chris Hatch, the CEO of Food Banks Canada, says during this COVID-19 crisis, they've seen a dramatic drop-off in food reserves.
We're expecting a huge surge in demand over the next several weeks, and so we're trying to deal with today, but also dealing with what's coming down the road tomorrow.
This morning, Rogers, the parent company of this radio station, announced it was making a donation to the cause. You can also donate at foodbankscanada.ca.
In other news, a historic property downtown ravaged by fire today. It happened in a Victorian home on Wellington. It's Spadina, was under construction. This woman lives near the abandoned building at 424 Wellington, and they were forced to leave their home.
We've been working hard, and I'm hoping the rain's helping a little bit. The police were kind enough to tell us that there's warming buses if we need to take some shelter.
The fire's been knocked down. Wellington remains closed east of Portland.
I'm just not
Many are already experiencing the short-term financial impact of COVID-19, and we've been warned the impact will be something to feel for months to come, not weeks. The Conference Board of Canada is out with the economic implications of social distancing. If it continues until the end of August in both Canada and the United States, it's predicting a recession for both countries. It says the company and the economy could shed over 330,000 jobs over the second and third quarters of 2020, boosting the unemployment rate to nearly 8%. Traffic and weather together next.
This is 680 News.
Oh, there.
Being right matters.
So if our weather forecast is off by more than 3 degrees,
you could win cash.
Details at 680news.com.
Ciao, I'm Dominic Liberci. Pizza Nova was founded by my family in 1963. Today, we're still family-owned, serving hand-tossed pizzas made from only the finest quality ingredients. On behalf of our family, we invite you to think Italian and taste the difference.
On city streets, Wellington closed from east of Portland to Spadina for a fire investigation, and Davenport is down to one lane both ways from Bedford to Avenue for construction.
City Streets was brought to you by CapitalDirect.ca. Low rates save money for homeowners.
Now, the 680 News gas price update. Emperor predicting the price of gas will hold steady overnight. No change. We should stay at just under 74 cents a liter.
680 News Time, 3:40.
There's a couple
This
things
gas
that
price
drive
update was brought to you by Home Turf Lawn Care. Green, weed-free lawns. HomeTurf.ca.
I don't want a weed. I want a lawn that's all weed.
What if I told you that I triple dip and lick my fingers in between? Or that I always bring 50 items through the express checkout. I'm also infused with cannabis. But my high is delayed and unpredictable. Imagine if your kids got a hold of me.
Cannabis edibles aren't as innocent as they look. Learn how to talk with your kids about their potent and unpredictable effects at drugfreekidscanada.org.
Hi, I'm Chef Mark McEwen, here to talk about my new store, McEwen Fine Foods at Yonge and Bloor. The newest McEwen location offers a full shopping experience with a wide selection of restaurant-quality prepared foods. Stop by for fresh produce, specialty ingredients, and do try my house-made recipes. There's 1 hour free parking available, and you can even order ready-made meals online at McEwenCatering.com. We look forward to serving you at 1 Bloor East.
680 News Time, 3:41.
Traffic and weather together on the ones. Here's Carrie Prunskis. This report is brought to you by Seneca College. Watch out on the eastbound 401 as you're approaching McCowan and the Express. There's a garbage can on the left shoulder, but
why didn't I call garbage can?
What kind of garbage might blow into the live lanes.
They get the metal ones, the plastic.
Eastbound 401 as you're approaching McCowan in the Express. That garbage can is on the left shoulder for now.
No
delays still on the eastbound 401. We're looking at a decent drive.
If it's a Rubbermaid, you'll never get rid of it.
No problems or delays as well. If you're traveling city streets, in case you just missed it, Wellington is still closed in both directions from east of Portland to Spadina. That's for an ongoing fire investigation. And we still have this stalled vehicle. I can see it on the cameras. Eastbound on Bloor at Castle Frank. The right lane is blocked. So traffic is quite heavy eastbound Bloor from just east of Sherbourne over to Castle Frank. And single lane construction in the city's north end. Shepherd reduced to 1 lane both ways east of the 400. Seneca students do the hard work and have the relentless commitment to take anything on. Take the next step and join the Seneca Proud. Challenge accepted. And now with the forecast, here's Natasha Ranza. Hi.
Yeah, very damp out there. Even got a couple of centimeters of accumulation out at Pearson, and the rain is slowly starting to push off to the east. We'll still have some drizzle, though, and even some fog this evening. Overnight, we start clearing things out down to a low of -1. Dry Tuesday on tap. Very light east wind and a high of 7 degrees, a mix of sun and cloud. On Wednesday, I'm going to keep us mainly cloudy and a high of 8. Do we get the showers or not through the middle of the day? That's going to depend on how close an area of low pressure comes to us. At this point, I'm putting in about a 40% chance of those showers around lunch on Wednesday. Overnight tonight, we're down to a low of -1. It is currently 3 degrees at Pearson.
Now, the Dynamic Funds Market Minute to the Business Center. Here's Richard Southern.
So again, we're entering here the last 15 minutes of trade. Markets testing the lows of the day. It is another sell-off here with the Dow Jones Industrial Average right now falling 760 points. That's another 4% knocked off the already badly beaten down Dow. You know, the Dow Jones Industrial Average here on pace for its worst month since December 1931. It's down 37% on the month, the Dow Jones Industrial Average. S&P 500 right now, it is down 3.7%. TSX down 554 points or 4.6%. Investors not liking the fact that U.S. politicians cannot see eye to eye as far as passing a more than $1 trillion economic rescue package for the U.S. economy. Big stampede towards gold today. The yellow metal up $83, biggest one-day gain ever for gold to $1,567 the ounce. The Canadian dollar right now trading lower, 68.76 cents US. That is your market minute. You're listening to All News Radio 680 News.
We all need advice from time to time. Why should investing be any different? Speak to a financial advisor today
not doing so
and visit dynamic.ca/advice to learn more.
Local radio is awesome. Every day it connects millions of Canadians to their communities with local news, traffic, and weather, local sports, entertainment, and events. But don't just take my word for it. There's also my mom. Hello. My sister and her kids. Hi. My buddy Dave around the corner. Yo. The guys in my neighborhood pizza place. Hey. My coworkers. Hi. My local town.
Oh.
I can see him clicking it. Why does it have to make a sound? And how do I make it not do that?
The mic is my weapon. Everyone looks for cover. So sadistic and twisted that they must be my brother. Now you're tired and broken, leaving this place on the stretcher because my lyrics.
My brother is sick.
They say that money is power, won't let me give you a lesson. Got so much anger inside, it's like I'm constantly stressing. Head is floating with power, I can't find the source. Flame ranger, the serial killers.
All these people spending all these money on these masks, personal protection equipment. They're cross-contaminating it all the time. What's the point? What's the point?
There's no escaping the pressure of living life to the fullest. I've been through my own wars, never been touched by no bullets.
You try selling dope and you don't have cost etiquette and all that other things, all your customers get sick and then they don't have money and then they don't come around.
Like I was Hannibal Lecter.
And 6 people come to you, so you have to fucking watch out. You can't tell them to fuck up. It doesn't work like that. You pull a horseman that's sick with a low weight.
Inside your soul, trying to get a blessed tale from the good people pushing you. I ought to be treated as a murderous MC. Never gonna go under siege, but we breathe in an elevated state. Taking over all your faggots full of hope. Who wanna come and raise their crown, may be my victim. Roll up on all your kids, so they're gonna end up going missing. So mission is plus when I go on the mission to see my ambition. Let's do a vision, vision with that Mac at 10 that'll spray you. Lay you down while I go in. Play around, this is not petty food. This is something that you play with these small petty tools. I'ma hunt you, and I'ma bust you down. This is it. Ashes to dust, and the fucking kids keep coming up, and this is straight foolery. I'ma take your bones and turn them into jewelry. Tales of the trip people, bleeding insanity, stories of a whole story. See all the casualties reaching deep inside your soul. Trying to get a blessed tale from the good people, still choosing the right direction. Tales of the good people, bleeding insanity, stories of a whole story. See all the casualties reaching deep inside your soul. Trying to get a blessed tale from the good people, dig deep where all of your feelings are gone. Tales of the good people that seem to wait for too long. It's like a camp on your story, the kind made up to get children creeping behind us and slowly while I'm in the side of kitchen. I'm the nightmare most. Then if you with all levels, don't you come to your bed just running high under the cover. make some more parts exposed. I hear you breathing, the silence of the flesh on your bones. Yeah, I'm a sucker for violence, feeling the warmth all around me that you wish you could give. This is fucking reality, I'm covered in blood, from my head to my feet. As I slowly absorb, but your soul is not mine. I beat, I'm shattered and torn, away from no innocence. Put it out to the speakers, this is a substance of life. That you was the crypt keeper. That you was the crypt keeper. Tales of the crypt keeper, the queen insanity, stirs up a whole story. See all the casualties reaching deep inside your soul. Trying to get a blessing tale from the crypt keeper. Scripture in the right direction. Tales of the crypt keeper, the queen insanity, stirs up a whole story.
Here's the problem. I don't feel sick at all now. I don't feel sick at all. So I'm about to go back out right around the community, right? No. But that's the problem. You get over it really quickly. You don't think you're sick anymore. That's what's going on.
Sabes que somos los duros. Hey, yeah, nigga, yeah. Siempre activo la llega. Nunca paró. Tell the niggas up, my nigga on the street with the mom. Mantiene. Yeah, motherfucking super neck, man. Snack motherfucking daddy, nigga. Experience going up. Oh, yeah. I just took a black Shaputi down before I wrote this shit so I could better exhibit to niggas with coaches. You niggas is miserable and hopeless. I don't fuck with you jokers. You look in my eyes and you can tell that I'm focused. Staying up late night for the smoke. 7 hours from the chokers. No jacuzzi or the soda. Beat you like a pinata, my niggas shooters not the type to put the father dumb crime. Show up at the bar where I unwind, nigga play that gun perfecting the sunshine. Happy to this life, it ain't for the buttercup. Open up a little boutique and they assume it's a cover up. Naturally, half-fashionably, toss a couple drops of water in the work and watch it define gravity. Bougie women call me your majesty. Accurately slap the key in half and bring the pack with me on the trapper street sauce. When I used to shit my juniors, niggas would laugh at me. Now they watching son dancing like Bush Cassidy. I'm on top of the game. Feed a shorty couple dunkers and watch her hop on the plane. Feel the cool breeze that come before the tropical rain. Mixing the shoulder, drop it in the flame, and then I chop it for change. Unexpected, come on. Break your heart. Yeah, these niggas is mad, they couldn't make it smart. Couldn't believe a little guppy ate the shark.
Guppies eat sharks.
Unexpected, come on, and break your heart. These niggas is mad, they couldn't make it spark. Couldn't believe it, the little guppy ate the shark. I had some laughing niggas. I hate to use the N-word. I moved dope for hope, cause I've been broke. We chopping up the coke. We got the block rocking like the boat. The lock that we chopping like it's soap. The fiends be on the float. And if a nigga diss, grab the rope. We jump real high, suicide. The left is how the homies ride. No time for phony lies. Lines be like genocide, a renegade. Lemons to lemonade. Give me for my senate. Drug dealing, fly Leonard's Latin women. Medellin, this is Ochoa's return. Will these fuck boys ever learn? It forever be my turn. Stack chicks, never let it burn. Slicker than your wig on a perm. They could never see the God. Yeah, I break bread to see the God. The best see me how I beat the squad.
Eastbound on Bloor at Castle Frank has completely cleared away, so the delays have gone as well.
What's up, bro? So you said I could rap it on my sunset? Well, how about you suck on this one, you little bitch? Oh, yeah, that's me. Marcy, you're disgusting.
For a limited time, get a triple glass upgrade on Draft Lock Plus. Visit windowscanada.com. And now with the extended forecast, here's Natasha Ransahide.
I've got some rain still happening pretty much through the east end of the city. We're going to be in for some drizzle, though, this evening. And then overnight, we start to clear out some of this cloud, dropping to -1, wind chill -4 in the morning. And it's a little bit milder tomorrow under a mix of sun and cloud with a high of 7. Wednesday, mainly cloudy and 8 degrees. Could see a couple of spotty midday showers. And then Thursday morning, nice and dry. A little bit of sun before we cloud over in the afternoon and bring back that rain late in the day. It's our mildest day of the week on Thursday at 11 degrees.
This is what I tell people. They won't stop crowding.
It is now 3 degrees.
They're trying to get sick.
This extended forecast is brought to you by Bellier Brothers. Bellier Brothers, experts in heating and cooling older Toronto homes since 1908. There's a red Bellier truck in your area ready to serve you. Visit BellierBrothers.com.
Coming up at 4, Mayor Tory declares a state of emergency in Toronto, sending the strongest possible message to residents to stay home, and the province has announced an emergency shutdown of all non-essential businesses.
This is 680 News.
License 10349. It's a slap in the face. Your bank refused your mortgage.
Well, like hair and nail salons, it's going to happen there.
Northwood Mortgage takes a closer look at your financial picture. Property equity, past record, the promise of performance, and more. Northwood Mortgage does everything they can to approve the mortgage you need. That's their business. Northwood Mortgage. Visit NorthwoodMortgage.com.
We're working harder for you.
It keeps growing.
The 680 News Weather Guarantee Jackpot
Is over $18,000. Enter now for your chance to win at 680news.com.
Flash contest.
This is 680 News. No verdict yet from the jury deliberating in the first-degree murder trial of Keelan Schlater. It is day 3 of deliberations in the nearly 2-month-long trial. The 23-year-old is accused of killing 22-year-old Tess Ritchie in November of 2017. Her body was found by her mother in a stairwell downtown a few days after Ritchie was reported missing. Business is next.
680 News time, 3:55.
People are alive. That's crazy.
On March 29th, the Today Showstopper at TSC will be the 10.2-inch Apple iPad with a bundle of extras, including a stylus pen, Bluetooth headphones, and 3 years tech support. Powerful, slim, and light, its advanced connectivity makes it easy to use from anywhere. And its large, vivid display makes it a joy for everyone, including first-timer toddlers and seniors. Watch for it on March 29th when it's the Today Showstopper. Shop TSC.ca, today's shopping choice.
You've been diagnosed with depression and can't work. Your insurer advises that your depression is not serious and denies your claim. What are you going to do? Who can you call? Call me, Aaron Waxman, at 416-661-4878. And don't worry about upfront legal fees, because there are none. At my law firm, my team of lawyers only get paid when you get paid. And before you call, you should always remember that there are no bad questions. 416-661-4878 or on your cell phone at pound LTD.
680 News time, 3:56.
And the 680 News Business Report. Here's Richard Southern.
It's McKenna. This just in to 680 News. It's another huge drop for the price of gasoline on the way. Gas could fall another 8 cents first thing Wednesday morning, bringing the average in the GTA down to a whopping 65.9 cents a liter. Not much of a change tonight, but again, according to Enpro International, you can see an 8-cent decline first thing Wednesday morning. Of course, a lot of people point out, okay, great, we got nowhere to go. But nonetheless, gas just continuing to drip through the floorboards here, along with the price of oil. Oil actually did close a little bit higher today, but still at very depressed level. We're coming out here on the end of the trading day, and markets close to the lows of the session. We got the Dow Jones Industrial Average down 858 points, about 4.5% right now to the downside on the Dow. The Dow's on pace for its worst month since December of 1931. Dow's down about 37% from the highs of late February. S&P 500 down 4.3%. The TSX right now is down 611 points, just over 5% at 11,240. Story today is really unprecedented moves by the U.S. Central Bank. The Fed says it's going to buy as many treasuries and mortgage-backed securities as it takes to stabilize markets. Basically, unlimited QE from the Fed, but investors brushing that aside. What the marketplace is waiting for is action out of Washington, D.C. They're waiting for a big, almost $2 trillion financial rescue package to be passed by U.S. politicians. That bill, though, pretty much stalled right now. So what are traders doing? What are Bay Street traders doing? Are they buyers right here? I asked one of them, Greg Taylor, Chief Investment Officer at Purpose Investments.
We're starting to rotate in areas which we think will come out stronger on the other side of this. Certainly people are going to be looking for income. We're looking for a lot of these companies with really good dividends and huge dividend yields right now. And I think those are going to be attractive areas to come out the other side. And then also we're looking at that everyone's not working from home. I think a lot of people are relying on technology. So we're starting to see some of the technology companies start to outperform and do better. And certainly the NASDAQ could be an area of strength going forward.
Yeah, looking at like Zoom stock going zooming higher again today, Greg.
Oh, absolutely. From Zoom for video conferencing, from Peloton, for everyone working out at home. There's a lot of different places that people are going to start moving their lives towards, and there's companies that will be stronger coming out of this.
Yeah, again, shares in Zoom on the NASDAQ are up 21%. This is a video conferencing company, Zoom, just continuing to go parabolic here as everyone tries to work from home. Again, we're coming up here, last few minutes of the trading day, and the Dow is down 415 points, a little bit off the low. Canadian dollar is lower as well right now at 68.78 cents U.S. Top stories next, right here on 680 News.
Hi, I'm Shmuel, and I have a physical disability. Easter Seals Ontario helped me get accessibility equipment like a stair lift so I can get to my bedroom on my own. I also have a power wheelchair so I can get around. Without it, I'd be stuck at home. When I grow up, I want to go to university and be a psychiatrist. With your help, Easter Seals kids can become unstoppable. Please donate today at easterseals.org. Bye-bye.
Thank you. Finally done with the realtor interviews.
Yeah.
What do you think?
Well, I really like that last agent with the boundary-wise training from protectyourboundaries.ca.
That's like he's protecting us from making home selling mistakes.
This PYB sellers report he gave us, I had no idea there was an easement on our property.
Looks like we're going with the boundary-wise agent. Yep. Quick, get him back here.
Choose a boundary-wise accredited agent and protect your sale with a seller's report and survey plan from protectyourboundaries.ca. A Kunstmark company. Protectyourboundaries.ca.
Now, 680 News regional weather conditions for Walmart.
Count on Walmart for low prices every day. Walmart remains committed to doing their very best to keep stores and Walmart.ca stocked with the products you want at prices you can trust. In Caledon, overcast 2 degrees, Brampton rain and 3. It's raining and 4 degrees in downtown Toronto. 680 News, the CFTR AM Toronto. It's 4 o'clock.
Number one for breaking news, traffic, and weather. This is 680 News, Toronto.
Here are James Monroe and Slatjana Minzik.
Good afternoon. It's Monday, March 23rd.
Here's what's making news right now.
In a desperate attempt to curb the spread of COVID-19, the province announces an emergency shutdown of all non-essential workplaces. Grocery stores and pharmacies will remain open.
Returning to school in 2 weeks is not realistic. That's the message from Premier Ford, preparing parents to hunker down.
The mayor today declaring a state of emergency in Toronto. Breaking news from the pumps. Gas set to fall another projected 8 cents early Wednesday.
Veteran IOC member Dick Pound says the Olympics will not be happening this year. And the NHL updates where things stand with them right now. Sports at 15.
I got the closing bell ringing right now. The Dow falling another nearly 600 points. TSX down more than 600. Another big day of losses. Business at 26.
680 News time, 4:01.
Traffic and weather together all once, brought to you by 407 ETR, Jordan Kerr.
Well, good afternoon. It's not a bad drive out there. A couple of minor issues on the eastbound 401 watch-out approaching McCowan and the Express. On the left shoulder, there's a garbage can. The traffic spotters are concerned the wind may blow it into the live lane, so we've notified the MTO. They're en route to go pick it up. Southbound on the DVP, south of Dundas, as you come up to the Richmond ramp in the left lane. Toronto Transportation sitting there, some minor ponding. Luckily, no delay. It is a wet drive out there, so drive carefully and according to the conditions. 407 ETR would like to thank all the healthcare workers and essential services who are working tirelessly for our communities throughout difficult times. 407etr.com. Stay safe. Next report at 4:11, and with the forecast, meteorologist Natasha Ranzai.
After 5 to 10 millimeters of rain here across the GTA, we're into some drizzle and some fog through this evening, and then partial clearing overnight tonight as we drop to -1. Should be a dry day tomorrow. Partly cloudy start, a little bit more cloud in the afternoon with a high near 7. Tonight we're down to a low of -1 degree.
Downtown Toronto, rain and 4 degrees. 680 News time, 4:02.
Well, crackdown on COVID went to another level today. The city declaring a state of emergency. The province set to close non-essential businesses. Premier Ford also says school will not resume in 2 weeks as originally thought. More on that in a moment.
First to 6 Cities, Moen Qureshi joins us with the latest from the province.
The province is desperately trying to curb the spread of COVID-19, and now the Premier has taken another major step forward, announcing all non-essential workplaces will be shut down as of Tuesday at 11:59 p.m.
And the gravity of this order does not escape me. But as I've said from day one, we will and we must take all steps necessary to slow the spread of COVID-19.
What we do know for now is that all grocery stores and pharmacies will remain open, but we'll have to wait until tomorrow to find out what fully qualifies as essential and non-essential. Some construction workers have been voicing complaints about social distancing and the level of hygiene at some construction sites, and the Premier is not happy about it.
Get your act together, take care of your frontline construction workers. To have an outhouse overflowing, the picture I saw, it's unacceptable.
The Premier once again stressing people need to do their part, stay home, and practice good hygiene. I'm Moen Qureshi.
Turning now to the classroom, Premier Ford acknowledging today he doesn't think it is realistic to expect the province's public schools to reopen on April 6th. 6 Cities' Michelle Mackey joins us live with that angle. Michelle.
Yeah, James, April 6th, no longer realistic for children to return to the classroom. That's the message from Premier Doug Ford.
We're making sure that people are safe, and our priority is make sure our kids are safe. That is the number one priority.
He adds that Education Minister Stephen Lecce is working on a new timeline for students. Several GTA school boards say they will let parents know when they have more information from the province. And for parents looking to entertain their kids, Mayor John Tory reiterates that playgrounds are not an ideal place to do so, and the emergency declaration will give the city more flexibility to make these decisions, like closing down playgrounds or limiting how close people are to each other on city property.
We couldn't do that. Now we can.
The Education Minister expected to provide an update in the coming days. Reporting live, I'm Michelle Mackey.
In a sign of the times, the mayor today declared a state of emergency in the city of Toronto. 6 Cities' Mark Douglas has more on what that means.
Mayor John Tory has made it official,
declaring a state of emergency in the city of Toronto after receiving advice from our Chief Medical Officer of Health and the Office of the Emergency Management.
As for what a state of emergency actually means for Toronto, basically for 30 days, the mayor can decide on his own anything council would normally decide.
Well, I will not hesitate to do that.
That doesn't necessarily mean he'll be going solo.
I'm going to do it, as I said, upon advice, which includes advice from city councillors and from senior officials and, of course, most importantly, from our Medical Officer of Health. I will do it in consultation with the Premier and the Prime Minister and the other governments.
The mayor says it will principally fall to police to enforce any and all orders, but he is hoping staff from city licensing can do some of that work. Tory says there's no need for a curfew, and there's nothing in the works to start issuing orders today or tomorrow. But the mayor says between people still gathering in public and the advice from the Medical Officer of Health, now was the time to call a state of emergency. At City Hall, I'm Mark Douglas.
This is 680 News. The Prime Minister has issued his sternest warning yet to people ignoring social distancing. It comes as the federal government boosts its funding for the development of a coronavirus vaccine.
The Prime Minister urges everyone to do their part to address this crisis and says he's extremely concerned by the number of people who are not self-isolating or practicing social distancing.
We've all seen the pictures online of people who seem to think they're invincible. Well, you're not. Enough is enough.
Trudeau warns his government may have to use tools in the Quarantine and Emergencies Acts if nothing changes, and doesn't rule out closing provincial borders and limiting people's movements. Health Minister Patty Hajdu also doesn't count out the option of calling in the military.
There are a number of different ways that these kinds of things can be enforced, and we're looking at a variety of different measures.
The militia's already in place.
Are also investing another $192 million into the development and production of a COVID-19 vaccine.
Stuck in the middle.
That process could take months. There's also $5 billion in loans being freed up for farmers and the agri-food industry. On the Tokyo Olympic Games, the Prime Minister weighs in on Team Canada's decision to skip them unless they're postponed.
I know this is heartbreaking for so many people,
but he says it's the right call to make. Cormac McSweeney, Parliament Hill.
A high-profile member of the International Olympic Committee says Summer Games in Tokyo, Japan are going to be postponed likely to next year.
Canadian Dick Pound tells USA Today details will be worked out in the coming weeks. Last night, Team Canada announced it wasn't sending any athletes to the games, which were supposed to start July 24th. We'll have details coming up in sports.
This is 680 News. Well, all that social distancing is going to take a bite out of the economy.
If social distancing continues in Canada and the U.S. until the end of August, the Conference Board says real GDP is forecast to fall by 1.1% this year instead of growing by 0.3% as was earlier predicted. The Conference Board also says the economy could shed over 330,000 jobs over the second and third quarters this year, boosting the unemployment rate to 7.7%. And it says industries like tourism and household services could see double-digit declines in the second and third quarters. But the Conference Board also says once COVID-19 is contained, the economy will rebound. At the Business Center, I'm Chris McCusker.
No lasting repercussions of any sort, eh?
This is 680 News.
Trev.ca is the fastest way to get real estate listings in real time. In fact, it's so fast. In the time it takes me to tell you this, I could have reached out to a Trev member realtor, checked out about a half dozen property listings, skimmed a couple of market reports, crunched some numbers with their land transfer tax calculator, spotted my dream home, moved in, and had a nap. So what are you waiting for? Be fast. Be first. For all your real estate needs, choose Trev.ca, powered by Trev's MLS system with exposure to 60,000 realtor users.
City streets happening now around town. Wellington remains shut down from east of Portland to Spadina for that fire investigation. And in Oakville, the intersection of Lakeshore and Trafalgar remains closed for construction. Now, the 680 News gas price update. And Empro predicts the price will not change at midnight, but hold on to your hat if you're wearing one. The projection is for a drop of 8 cents early Wednesday. Coming up in 60 seconds, traffic and weather together.
680 News Time, 410.
The Government of Canada and public health experts are taking action to protect Canadians from COVID-19. Protect yourself and others, especially those with medical conditions and older adults. Wash your hands often. Avoid touching your face. Cough or sneeze into your arm and disinfect surfaces. You should also avoid crowded places. Avoid all non-essential travel outside of Canada. And if you're sick, stay home. To learn more, call 1-833-784-4397. A message from the Government of Canada.
680 News Time, 411.
Traffic and weather together on the watch brought to you by Tyndale University. Jordan.
Tyndale.
Looks like we have an issue on the northbound 404, just north of Stouffville Road. It's jammed right now from Stouffville Road to just north of it, about a half-kilometer backup, but really, really slow looking. If you're there, could update us. It'd be appreciated. Free call start 680 on your cell phone. If you want to miss it, just jump off at Stouffville Road, take Woodbine up to Bloomington and rejoin the northbound 404 there. Watch out on the eastbound 401 approaching the town and the express. A garbage can rolling around the highway. Last check, it was on the left shoulder. MTO aware. They're en route to clear it up. And that issue southbound TVP south of Dundas coming up to the Richmond ramp, that's out of there. A bit of ponding in that area, but nothing major anymore. At Tyndale University, professors help you discover your opportunities from graduate studies to career paths. There's still time. Apply now at Tyndale with a Y.ca. From the 680 Traffic Center, I'm Jordan Kerr.
Now the latest forecast. Here's Natasha.
All right, about 10 millimeters, 5 to 10 millimeters has fallen. Still a few spotty showers out there, especially coming down pretty good out through Oshawa right now. Everything's starting to push east. We'll be in for some drizzle this evening. Partial clearing overnight down to a low of -1. And it's a dry Tuesday, a mix of sun and cloud with a high of 7. About 8 degrees on Wednesday. Now it's going to be mainly cloudy, and there's a slight chance of some midday showers along the south end of the GTA near the lake. But for the most part, it's going to be dry as well. Tonight we're down to a low of -1. It is currently 3 degrees at Pearson.
Now the Dynamic Funds Market Minute, Richie.
Hey, James, another rough one in the books. Here are the closing numbers right now. The TSX finishing the day down 642 points, 5.4%. The Bay Street benchmark now stands around 11,200. On Wall Street, the closing numbers are as follows. The Dow falling 582 points. That's another 3% knocked off, but down to 18,591. Dow's down 37% into this mess right now. S&P 500 today falling 2.6%. NASDAQ down as well, holding up a little bit better, though, than the rest. NASDAQ composite down just 22 points. On the session, big move for gold, up some $80 plus today. Investors looking to the precious metal as a safer haven play here. Price for gold also, price for oil rather, also inching higher. Canadian dollar falling again to 68.71 cents US. That is your market minute. This is 680 News.
Research shows that households with a financial advisor save at nearly twice the rate versus those who don't. To learn more, visit dynamic.ca/advice.
Over 50? It's time to take the at-home colon cancer test. Why? Because colon cancer is 90% curable when found early. Plus, testing is really easy. Just collect your sample and mail it in. We promise it's easier than you think. So ask your healthcare provider for the kit and visit ontario.ca/colon cancer check for more information. Paid for by the Government of Ontario.
Hey guys, it's never a good look when you untuck a long bulky dress shirt. It just looks sloppy. That's why Untuck It makes shirts specifically designed to be worn untucked. And not only do they look good, they feel great too. Untuck It offers 50 fit combinations, so tall, short, slim, and bigger guys can experience the perfect fitting shirt. While our stores are temporarily closed, please go to untuckit.ca where you can browse and purchase from our extensive new spring line. Use promo code Canada for 20% off your entire first purchase. Untuckit.ca. Promo code Canada.
This is All News Radio, 680 News. With light rain in downtown Toronto, 4 degrees at Pier. Good afternoon from the 680 News Broadcast Center. I'm James Monroe.
I'm Sultana Timmins. Here are the top stories right now.
The crackdown on COVID went next level today. The city declaring a state of emergency. The province set to close non-essential businesses.
Premier Ford acknowledging today that he doesn't think it is realistic to expect the province's public schools to reopen on April 6th.
Feel free to guzzle gas. Another drop of 8 cents or so coming at the pumps early Wednesday.
For these stories and more, go to 680news.com.
Time now for 680 Sports. Alex.
Dick Pound says it's a fait accompli. I'm Alex Xero with his Sportsnet Central Update. Well, the veteran IOC member has read the tea leaves and tells writer's block an Olympics this summer is not happening.
And it's really a question of whether you do it postponed by a year or you try and see whether you can squeeze this in at the end of the 2020. But the curve on the COVID virus heading almost straight up. It's just so unlikely that I think you're looking at a year.
Pound says the IOC in a matter of 4 weeks will come up with details on what Plan B looks like. Meantime, Jays president Mark Shapiro also is a guest on Writer's Block and says to this point, none of his players or staff have been tested for COVID-19. Tonight, Sportsnet 590 The Fan will replay Game 4 of the 92 ALCS between the Jays and the A's. That's at 7, and you can watch the game on Sportsnet at 8. Streaming live on the Sportsnet app, this is Toronto Sports Radio, Sportsnet 590 The Fan.
Hi, I'm Erin Davis. Canadians are living longer and more active lives than ever. That can mean needing more retirement income than expected. As a Canadian homeowner, you have the option to stay in the home you love and fund the retirement you deserve. The CHIP reverse mortgage from Home Equity Bank can get you up to 55% of your home's value in tax-free cash without affecting your pension. And there are no monthly mortgage payments required. Find out how much money you can get. Visit chipradio.ca.
Hi, I'm Cherry Tabb, co-founder of the Herzig Eye Institute. We're taking every possible precaution to keep you safe. That's why the Herzig Eye Institute is pausing elective surgery for the time being. However, we remain available online and by phone to keep you fully informed about our refractive cataract and laser vision correction services, and to schedule and reschedule your Herzig appointments. Google high-definition vision and sign up for my blog so we can stay connected. Look after yourself. Promise me.
This is 680 News. The last Sunwing repatriation flight takes off today. It's scheduled to leave St. Petersburg, Florida tonight, landing at Pearson at 11 before continuing its final destination In Halifax, over the course of last week, Sunwing has flown more than 60,000 people home, including more than 3,000 stranded Canadians who aren't even customers, flew them for free. The airline has operated more than 400 repatriation flights from about 45 destinations across the U.S., Caribbean, Mexico, and Central America. It cost about $26 million. Going forward, all Sunwing flights will be temporarily suspended, but the airline says if Global Affairs Canada needs any more help, they are ready and willing. U.S. President Trump appears to be waffling on telling Americans to stay home beyond the current 15-day suggested period.
Over the weekend, the president again urged people to avoid each other as much as possible.
If we're going to kill this horrible hidden enemy, we have to stay away.
But the shutdown has kept workers home and closed businesses. Late last night, the president tweeted in all caps, "We cannot let the cure be worse than the problem itself," adding he'll make a decision on extending the shutdown after the 15 days are up. The tweet contradicts medical experts and came just hours before Surgeon General Jerome Adams warned on several morning shows that the virus outbreak in America will get much worse. Sagar Mangani, Washington.
Italy's day-to-day increases of new cases of COVID-19 have dropped considerably compared to figures from a day earlier. According to data released by the Civil Protection Agency, new cases rose from a day earlier by nearly 4,800, but that's nearly 700 fewer new cases that were reported in yesterday's day-to-day update. Italy's been anxious to see daily new caseloads drop as its health system struggles to keep up with the world's largest outbreak after China. Health authorities say it'll need a few more days to see if a positive trend is developing. The Prime Minister's fed up with people who are not following the rules of social distancing. He says enough is enough. By choosing to ignore the advice, you're not putting yourself at risk, you're putting others at risk.
Your elderly relative who's in a senior's home, or your friend with a pre-existing condition. Our nurses and doctors on the front lines. Our workers stocking shelves at a grocery store. They need you to make the right choices. They need you to do your part.
So the Prime Minister says,
go home, like military propaganda?
Says the government is going to make sure that happens, and enforcing the rules is now being considered. Coming up in 60 seconds, traffic and weather together. 680 News Time, 420.
Nice. Tread.ca is the fastest way to get real estate listings in real time. In fact, it's so fast. In the time it takes me to tell you this, I could have reached out to a Tread member realtor, checked out about a half dozen property listings, skimmed a couple of market reports, crunched some numbers with their land transfer tax calculator, spotted my dream home, moved in, and had a nap. So what are you waiting for? Be fast. Be 1,000 realtor users.
We've all heard those home renovation stories. Hi, I'm Jeannie Becker. Georgian Renovations has created Smart Reno to offer a home renovation that's quick, easy, and affordable. Simply choose from the Smart Reno packages or work with truly your own. With a guaranteed price and time frame, and easier to transform your home into something you'll fall in love with again. Get your free, no obligation instant today at Reno.com.